in here on a Thursday today, Fit.
Hey,
We're
what's going on?
we're in it no matter what, but we are in here on a different day. I wonder how our audience will respond to that. I know they're going to show up eventually,
Well, yeah,
even if
we
it's on
may
the
just
replay.
pop in and surprise you from here and then,
Yeah,
from time to time we may just pop in on a Thursday at this
yeah.
time.
Be careful. Make sure you do what you're supposed to be doing because we might just show up.
Exactly. Welcome all to have joined. This is the session. I am Coach Michael J. Fit, infidelity recovery specialist, creator of the 9 stages of infidelity, and here with me.
Yeah, Thomas Isaac Castro,
Mhm.
licensed marriage and family therapist in California, you guys, and here to love on you guys as much as possible. Also, a creator of the Shine Campus, which is doing well as well, and that's mostly attributed to my wife, who is killing the game out there and being able to love on people and help people with her what she's doing. So I appreciate her. What do we got in store today, Fit?
We have an incredible show. So we have repairing trust after it's been broken, which is right up my alley. I'm excited about today's show.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, man, this is fit show today for sure, for sure,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's trust is one of those hard things. One of the first things that I used to or that I learned about trust that was useful for me was that trust is more about can we deal with the hard emotions that may come out, right? And so
Mhm.
what that means is like we don't really know what's going to happen, but our body's trying to predict what's going to happen, and that's what builds the lack of trust, right?
Mhm.
So, I don't know what my partner
Mhm.
is gonna say or do, but the idea that it might go wrong is where I get fearful and where that's where we come with this trust idea, and so learning that was a big deal for me, like, just being able to understand that actually trust doesn't come from the other person, it actually comes from you at some rate, and how you
Mhm.
build that, but we're gonna talk about how we could actually repair that experience today, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me as well. And if we could, I'll open up in the first segment, where we're talking about trust, being rebuilt, and whether it's we're talking about you've been cheated on or you cheated or you haven't. There's many forms of betrayal where we've either been betrayed in some way and the trust has been lost, or and so uh I don't know about you. You tell me. You go first on. I'll put you on the
Oh,
spotlight
now I'm
first
on the
on this
spot.
one. All right. Oh yeah. How do you like it? All right.
I love it. I
Tell
love
me a
it.
story. Yeah. Tell them a story about maybe a time where the trust was broken on your end, or you found yourself having to learn to trust all over again, or like you were saying, having to find out that it came from within, or
Yeah.
something.
I know we talk about infidelity, and that's probably a common one for a lot of people to look at, but sometimes it's emotional security that gets broken as far as trust goes. And for me, in the past, knowing that I didn't have the emotional security in the relationship was a big deal. Not about infidelity, just about like my person that was supposed to be my person wasn't a safe place, right? And how did that get created? Well, I mean, it's a combination of things. Is one is maybe my person really wasn't a safe place or couldn't be at that moment, right?
Mhm.
And so for me, like that broken trust scenario came from the idea of I saw that and then it made me afraid to to actually go into it or create a different scenario. And I will go into this as the show goes on, but I think the answer for that scenario is can we stay in these relationships and in these scenarios where even though somebody can't hold what you give them or who you are in the moment so that you can actually trust that like man there's going to be security if I express myself in an appropriate way or if I do something that they don't recognize as good. um, can I stay in the relationship is always kind of the question because you can't repair that trust factor if you don't stay in it, right? If you sell the car, there's no way you can repair it, right? If you get rid of the thing,
Mhm.
if you junk it, there's no way you can repair it, right? And
Mhm.
so in our relationships, and that's why I want to do this show so bad, is like no matter what the broken trust is or how that happens, whether it's emotional insecurity, whether it's infidelity, or whether it's parenting scenarios, whatever it is in the relationship situations, like how do I actually get back to being able to trust somebody is such a key thing, and it happens in all kinds of ways. And yeah, and for me, I think the turnover is understanding that it's got to be an inside out process, and we can do some things in a relationship that will help that.
Yeah. I know I came into this world learning to not trust.
Hmm.
From what experience in life has taught me early on, going back, was to not trust.
Hmm.
Growing up, uh, with just a lot of it,
Yeah.
going on, a lot of things happening, like being bullied,
Hmm.
right? And or being, taken advantage of by the people that you love, or the people that are supposed to be caring for you.
Hmm.
You know, and going starting off life like that,
Hmm.
right? And so there's starting off life where hey, we trust, and then all of a sudden the trust has been broken. Then we learn to not trust, but also on the other aspect of it as well, and coming into the world where it's like you do not trust. Here's a quick story. When I was little, I was at my cousin's house, and they were older than me. And they left me out in the living room, and our parents, they went out to go hang out. And so it was just us kids, right?
Hmm.
And they were in the room playing video games. And come on now, I'm a little kid, I want to be in the room playing video games. And they locked me out they locked me out of their room, and I was in the house, just, kid by myself. And I went over there, and I kept on going, hey, can I come in? And they just kept, no, still, they didn't want to hang out with me. I was a little kid, but finally I remember I knocked on the door one more time, and I tried to explain myself, make up some little reason to go in there. And then I remember I was playing with the railing of the door, where it
Hmm.
shuts, and I had my finger in there. And then my cousin, he's like, what? And I was starting to tell him something, that he slams the door, and he slams it right on my finger.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because as a kid experiencing that, how many beliefs could have been created just from that, right
Hmm.
then and there?
Hmm.
Coping
Hmm.
mechanisms and defense mechanisms, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so true. Our body stores memory, and there's a lot of things that we don't even remember or can't put into place, especially when we haven't done our work, that just kind of shape us into this thing that makes our forearms go up whenever somebody hurts us, or make our fists start flying when somebody gets close to a same kind of memory where maybe they're not actually shutting us out of the room, but they're shutting us out of whatever they have going on. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, it's right
yeah.
on that all of us, you guys, have been in scenarios that accidentally shape how you're going to do trusting of other people and other situations. And again, a lot of times it's not even about this new person, it's about a lot of experiences that we've had in these scenarios that start shaping and taking us right into that, just brings us right back into that it hooks us pretty much, right? So yeah, I think it's valid. It's super valid for us to be able to know that like trust factors happen a lot of different ways, you guys, and how they're formed. There's so many different ways that we don't even realize. Even from infancy, like children learn how to experience life because of that and start forming those trust factors, right? We have something from the listener that we can actually kind of go into and tie in what we're already discussing, which is uh, the listener says, after my partner lied to me, I want to trust again, but I keep waiting for them to mess up. And their question is, how do you rebuild trust when it feels fragile?
Mhm. So when you're waiting for them to mess up, so first of all, this is just going based off of me knowing very little, just going based off of that comment, of what was said in that comment. So I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But if I were to say anything that I notice, is I'm waiting for him to like mess up again, or her,
Mhm.
whoever it is. So if you have that expectation and that intention, that is only going to feed the anxiety and the doubts and the uncertainty, and not be able to trust. Right. And so, yes, it is very fragile, but I would say to experiment, start to go and play with the fragile, because we want to feel safe. But in order to feel safe, it's going to take feeling unsafe in some steps. And it's like I compare it, when trust is broken, it's like you're swimming in a pool and you start drowning when you get out. And you're like, "Oh, never gonna go in there again. Oh, I know what happened there." And
Mhm.
then you want to go back. You reach a point where you want to go back into that pool again. You're not going to jump back in. You're going to do it, step by step. And so it is finding in those ways. Upon first thing is, again, a big part of it is in mindset. So if you're going to say that, I'm just waiting for that, then you're signaling all of those subconscious triggers to be looking for those reasons to not trust, which you're already doing. But remember, again, your brain and body have already been programmed to think, feel, and be that way, and so now it is a reprogramming process. So coming back in and rebuilding the mindset as well, and finding those ways to get back into that pool step by step, even though it may be fragile and it may be scary.
Yeah. Fit, I remember as you were talking, there was a scenario where one of my nieces, I actually had both of my nieces with me, Mariah and then Angelina,
Mm,
and I was sitting them, and we are gonna all go in the pool. We all did go in the pool, but Angelina, before we could even get in there, and she was little, she she was crying hysterically, like almost like there was something broken, right? Which, I think later on we'll figure out that there was, but like as soon as we got to the step and like just hysteric, but you could tell there was a real fear there.
mm,
And later
mhm,
on, like I talked to my mom about it. This is a long time ago now, but I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, she almost drowned, in a pool." Um,
man.
and and so I said, "Oh, it explains everything," and this is actually before my career even started, but she had that
Mm,
like gripping fear. So as you were saying about, testing the water, like
mhm,
that's a real
mhm,
scenario that goes on. How would that person ever get into how would Angelina ever get to a different scenario, um, is the same recipe that we're helping our audience with today and our listener, um, which is like, how do you rebuild trust when it's fragile? Like, how do I rebuild that if I have this fear that grips me so much that I'm screaming like something's broken, right? How does that happen? Well, it is a little bit of safety and time and consistency that says that you're going to be okay, right? It's a little bit of a challenge. Like there's going to be some disruption. So you have to first enter the scenario a little bit, but then you have to back away, right? Then you have to enter a little bit more and then you have to back away. And you're not looking for harm. You're just looking for your own strength that you can do it. So you're not looking to say like, "Oh, is this person, safe or not?" That's not what you're looking for. It's more of, "I can do this. Okay, I'm gonna step back again. Okay, I can do this. Okay, I'm gonna step back again." Right? So it's reintroducing yourself to your own courage more than it's seeing that the scenario is or is not safe. Right? Because the drowning scenario is a combination of the water is there and not completely safe, but also not knowing how to swim, right? So at that early
mhm,
age for her. So it's the same thing with
yeah,
relationships. The
yeah,
part that it is or is not safe is up to like outside things. We don't have control over that. If we try to shift that, we're going to be in trouble. But my ability to deal with it being safe or not is what's key. And so, in order for us to rebuild trust when it feels fragile, fragile cannot be your guiding force. So whether it's strong or not is not the thing that guides you. Whether you can is the thing that guides you. And so you just have to put your toe in a little bit and then back away and
mm,
consistently just build yourself
mhm,
up over a period of time. And that's just the most effective way to start rebuilding that trust whenever things have been broken or are fragile at the moment, right? It's not watching and everything that we do, you guys, and you learn this as a theme of ours, which is it's a focus thing. So what you're going to focus on is not whether it's going right or wrong on the other end. It's whether I am having the ability to build trust and strength in myself. So that's what the focus would be on. And so if we could switch that over, then we're going to start rebuilding the things that we need in our relationship. Now, the opposite is really important to know. So what happens in the opposite is anxious gets anxious, worry gets worry, mistrust gets mistrust. So as long as I'm doing this, the other person's going to be doing this or this too, right? So my job is to be able to be brave and see if I can step back into it. It's almost unfair to say brave because I don't want it to seem like you're not brave if you can't do it. It's just a hardship.
Right.
Um, but it does take a lot of courage for us to do this because this is not an easy thing. It's one of those vapor walls that's pretty solid. Okay. You have anything else for our listener?
If there was a follow up,
Any
with
questions?
question to it, I'd love to you know,
Okay.
well, any and all questions that come in about this, you guys already know this is my area, right? uh, so this is my jam right here, so to speak. And so,
All
yeah,
right.
if any of you in here have any of the questions for I or Mr. Thomas here, definitely. But it is going to take. You're right. The consistency of a person who is earning trust in the same regard of a person who is learning to trust, and that's what I teach,
Mhm.
is earning the trust and learning to trust. When a couple rebuilds trust, they do it together. On the unfaithful's end, they earn the trust. They do what the necessary actions or whatever it is
Mhm.
to earn the trust, and the betrayed learns to trust,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And how you learn to trust is you practice trusting. Just like you learn anything, you practice at it, and you practice with consistency. And we're going to get into some more, behaviors of that, later in the show, but right up that alley.
Yeah. Well, let's do it now because I think that helps us to like break the patterns of not trusting and not being able to repair things that have happened in our relationship. And so I think one of the questions that we can ask or like try to answer is um, what does what how would we actually define trust inside of a relationship? Like if it was actually going to be there, what would it look like in a relationship? How do you define trust in a relationship? What's
Mm.
happening?
I would love to know if anybody can drop in you what you would consider trust in a relationship, because I love that it's quick. There's so many angles you can go from, but there is a question from real realize, looks like, how do you keep balance from feeling like you're overdoing things to earn someone's trust, and the balance of giving them space? Once again, how do you keep balance from feeling like you're do overdoing things to earn someone's trust, and the balance of giving them space?
Mhm.
Mr. Thomas, what do you have for
Yeah.
that one?
So, we have to operate, you guys, shift. Let's make a shift. So instead of us
Yeah.
operating with our eyes and watching what we're seeing on the outside to see how we're going to operate, we have to operate from the inside. You as a person have to be a good evaluator of am I pursuing the highest version of me or not? You can't be a person who watches what somebody else is doing to determine how you're going to do things. You have to have a source and a fight inside of you that says, this is the highest level of being, pursue it. Pursue it. Will everybody recognize that? No. I tell my team because I coach basketball all the time winners don't like losers and losers don't like winners. They don't get along, they don't mix. Right? And so it's the same kind of thing. Like your partner may not be on the page of pursuing relationships, so their reaction might not give you the desired feeling that you want. But you on your inside have to know, look, I'm pursuing relationship to myself at a high level, and I'm pursuing this relationship at a high level. Now you don't need a meter for what's going on with somebody else because you're already pursuing at a higher level than anybody could imagine. What if two people in a relationship were doing that? What if two people in a relationship said, I'm pursuing myself at a high level, trying to become all I possibly can, and I'm pursuing this relationship at a high level, trying to make it the best it possibly can be? Then everything changes versus, hey, I'm going to see how this other person's reacting, and then I'm going to go at things. Right? That makes a challenge. It's a headache. And now you're on a roller coaster of somebody else's mishaps and challenges of life. Everybody's in a different spot. So I may have done the work that I need and to do to be ready for this moment, but I may not have. So if you base it on how I'm doing things, your interaction could totally change every single day because I'm not ready. But if you keep pursuing your highest level, I'll either have to get there or get off. Right. And so I think it's really important for us to shift on how we think about the way that we're operating in relationships. It's so easy for us to go to like, hey, do what your partner needs you to do. That's an outcome of you pursuing yourself at a higher level. Like that it's an easy thing to try to chase that. But we need less from each other and get more. Isn't that interesting? We need less from each other and get more when we're pursuing higher levels of ourselves. Because it's not a game at that point in time. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to do me and you do you. That's not the game. It's a strength that says, look, I am prepared to do anything we need to do in this relationship. I am prepared to help this relationship become anything it needs to be. Right. And I don't have time to go to you to make you different or feeling better um, if I'm not done doing the things I have to do. So it's really important for us to start shifting our thinking about how we're doing relationships, because so much we're leaving on the table, and our ability to give to each other if we could just shift that. Kind of a long-winded answer. Once I got done, I feel like it took up a lot.
No, no,
Yeah.
that was beautiful. Yeah. And my response to that is everything he said. Right.
Any
Alex,
follow-ups? Yeah.
92, says, my partner left a month ago. There has been some contact between us, and I've entered therapy for myself personally.
Oh.
However, there is no definitive answer on whether she wants to try to rebuild or not. A
Mhm.
therapist says for improving my self esteem issues and attachment issues, I should look to move away from her due to no solid decision.
Hmm.
So, with that, one thing I remind myself of, and I realize this actually in life, you can be in the most beautiful place physically, right? The most beautiful terrain before you physically, but mentally and emotionally be in the most not beautiful place. And it doesn't matter if you have this beautiful place before you physically out here externally, if internally it does not match, because internally it's still going to be the same, right? And so moving away, may help. I'm not here to disagree or agree, or but I would say that, yeah, that can help. And if you feel that that is what's best, then do it.
Mhm.
Do on what you feel is best for you and what is going to empower you and develop you. And again, as Mr. Thomas right here was saying, and in looking within and finding that within. And a lot of the times we look here, we look there, we think that is the answer, but the answer is always here. The answer is always me. It's always been you, and always be you. And
Mhm.
it's not that, like, to say, well, like as you were saying, you do me, I'll do, you do you, I'll do me. It is really about focusing more on the accountability of one's self and what one does with one's self. I remember somebody asked me, do you watch the Instagram stories? I go, no, I don't. I just don't watch Instagram stories. And then they're like, why not? And I'm like, well, because I'm too busy creating my own story.
Mhm.
You know, so
Mhm.
take what you want from that. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions going on. I don't know if we want to dive more into the questions, or you want to go into that,
No,
add to that.
we can dive into the questions. I like that. I will add to that too that I always think, and this is loving on our field, of people who are helping people is I don't think it's a good idea for us to tell people what to do in their life. I think it's a good idea to direct people in how to pursue life, but as helpers, like giving people a solution to their situations, like leave, don't leave, stay, don't go. I think it's not fair for us to do that, because I think people
Mhm.
take what we say and really try to do those things to make things better, and we don't have that knowledge to know what's going to be better, what's not.
All right.
Now, how to
Mhm,
pursue the scenarios that you're going to be in is something that we can help with. And so I want to redirect that conversation. And then the other part of it is while we're doing our work, uh, make sure it's not for a result. So
mhm,
often, like, we'll go to therapy or we'll go to help or even prayer. Like, for some people, it's prayer, so we get what we want, right? And I would say, let's flip that. And the best thing for us to do is pursue a higher version of ourselves in this process. While we don't have answers, while we don't know if we're going to be together, while we don't know if we're going to be alone, like, let's just get better, right? And can we do that? Like, when you don't have a results, when you don't know what's going on, can I just be better for the next moment of life instead of
mhm.
being better for a circumstance that's coming, right? Because you don't even know what's next. You don't know what's next. And so I think that it's important for us to have that focus. We'll take
Mhm.
another follow-up question. I can't see questions on my end, so anything that you have popping up, Fit, go ahead.
All right. Yes, and it would be that way. I'm the one with the lesser quality vision and the lesser quality of reading, but I will oblige. My partner says he does not want me, but does not know if he will get a divorce. So I don't know if I should still do things to get his trust back. Should I still try getting his trust? That one's coming in from Ashley. Again, my partner says he does not want me, but does not know if he wants to get a divorce. So I don't know if I should still do things to get his trust back. Should I still try getting his trust? Ashley's wondering what she should do. Mr. Thomas, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of mirrors the same concept that we kind of have given everybody else. And the cool thing is, like, and that's why I think it's huge to not, take a circumstance and say, "Hey, do this," because there's sometimes just one route that we need to pursue. And for, I think you said it was Ashley. For Ashley, I think just continue to pursue a higher version of yourself, Ashley. Like, don't put who you are in the hands of another person. And I will say to all of our audience, like, we're us allowing somebody to determine who we're going to be and how great we become is unfair to ourselves. So it's fair for us to be able to pursue um, is to be able to pursue a higher version of ourselves and try to do our relationship well. You won't always get compliance from other people to do that, but that actually kind of builds us as much as we need to get built.
You know, a mentor of mine a long time ago once told me when you do the right things, usually the right things tend to happen.
Mhm,
And a lot of us, we do focus on the doing, and it is in the becoming, right? And in who you are becoming. So on your end, I believe it's Ashley, right? Ashley asked that one.
mhm,
Ashley. Uh, so with your partner not wanting to be with you, but not knowing if they want a divorce, break that down in the reasoning of why that is. Is that due to convenience, or is that due to the possibility of I don't know if I could still trust you or not, or if this could still work. Now, if that's the case, then we must investigate and find out what that reason is. Okay. If that because he or she, I'm not sure whatever it is, but they may be telling you something by saying, I don't want to be with you, but I don't want a divorce. Okay. So make me want to be with you. And it may not be about how you're wanting to earn the trust back. Maybe it might be investigating more about what they truly desire, and meeting what they truly desire, how they truly desire it. Uh, and so a lot of us go, okay, it's now I need to do more, right? And yes, it is becoming, but and also in what you do, there must be strategy behind it as well. Okay, so I will leave it at that. I'd love to get more into it, but this is uh,
I have a
we
question
we
that
have
popped
more
up in mind.
questions.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
on one of this questions, Easy asked about what's the goal of the conversation, and for us, you guys, so we always have a topic that we're talking about on the session podcast, and we have our sessions during we do the session podcast during the month, and then one time a month we actually do a meeting. And so we'll do that meeting next week. That's a closed door meeting for only people who register. We'll pop on for that. We'll give you a registration link, and then you can register for that. And then for today, yeah, people are welcome to ask questions regarding relationships, and then we want to try to help answer any questions. And that can be about infidelity. It could be about building a relationship. It could be about how to be good in relationships. Whatever questions you want to ask about it, we'll take it. Okay, so I hope that helps. Easy. Um, how to build self trust as a betrayer? I have a lot of shame. So that was the next question that comes in from Cool Beans, and Cool Beans is a repeat
Yep.
uh, watcher. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So for Cool Beans, how to build self-trust, and that's probably the hardest thing is to be able to trust ourselves. And I would say this, and this might seem kind of weird, but I don't think that you need to trust yourself as much as you need to do the things that mean like I'm working on getting better. Right? And the more that you work on that, you can say, like I always tell people who have addiction or even infidelity scenarios, like you don't need to trust that you're never going to do that again. Matter of fact, it's kind of the opposite. I would build in a way that says, look, I'm just strengthening me because I know it can happen again. Right? And so the more that you're focused on building yourself up and staying in that mindset of saying like, look, I don't need to be able to trust myself. I just need to know that I want something else and I'm going to move towards that. And then you stay consistent with surrounding yourself with the right kinds of things, whether it's watching the right kind of things. It's getting into groups, having your therapy. Like, stay consistent with building up all the work. And so I say this because Fit, we were just talking about exercising earlier. Because what I know is that our bodies are always headed towards atrophy. Our minds are headed towards atrophy. Everything's headed towards atrophy. So we're going to sink to the lowest level as soon as we let it go. So we have to constantly be doing workouts that help our mind and our bodies and our our inter- and our interaction as much as possible. And so that's why I would say to you guys is like it's less about believing that you can trust yourself and more about knowing that you're doing all the work that you can do to build yourself up. Okay, so I hope that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Shame and guilt sometimes are the things that help set us up to be punished. So I wouldn't focus on
Mm-hmm.
feeling those things. A little bit, they might be guiding forces for some people, but for the most part, they're things that don't give you goodness. And so it's not about feeling shame and guilt. It's about operating from your great center, like being able to know that, look, I wear a crown at some rate, and I need to focus on building that and shining that up. Is the meeting going to be free again? Yes. Do you have any other questions on your end, Fit?
Yes, they're coming in.
Okay.
To recap on Cool Beans, I think we're on enough cool vibes here to say CB. We'll reference him as Cool
You
Bean,
call Cool
he or
Bean
she. I
CB?
don't know, but CB, CB. All right, CB.
CV, CV.
I love this quote, and I'd love for you to be open to using it. Successful people don't make the right decisions; they make the decisions they make right. Successful people don't make the decisions they make right, or you get don't make the right decisions, they make the decisions they make right. And so what that means is start trusting your decisions. Every single time you make a decision, you make that decision, whether it turns out the way that you want it to or not, you find a way to find the positive in that decision of how that was the right decision and how you learned, even though it didn't come out the way that you planned, but you still learned from it. So let's say you made an investment and it wasn't the right investment, you didn't get the money, the ROI, right? And so you go, well, you know what, I learned from that. I wanted to learn more about investing and I made a wrong investment so that I could learn from it. And you know what I did? I did learn from it. So that in fact was the right decision. And I do trust myself and I do trust my decisions. So create some opportunities for you to begin learning to trust yourself, because that guilt and shame will wither away once you begin to become more disciplined and put it right there for yourself. And you support yourself in there. You're rebuilding the trust for yourself. So it's like if you were split in two and the other version of you wants to trust you, give yourself every reason to trust you by doing what you say and say what you do. Yeah, CB, glad you like it. Okay, but
Mhm.
let's. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
You want to add to that, or you want to read the next one,
Yeah, I'll read
Thomas?
the next one. So
Um,
the next one was my wife and I are working through infidelity repair. I'm currently dealing with what questions to ask her when she is dealing with grief and pain. So I will go first. Um, so thank you, Easy, for sharing. And I think, one benefit you guys of us getting on together is everybody's dealing with something similar, as time goes on, and probably more so than what everybody realizes, because not everybody airs all their things. And so it's helpful for us to be able to ask questions and get guidance. Um, so a couple of shows ago, and usually a theme of ours um, is us being able to help our relationships, in different ways. And one of the things that we've talked about is that curiosity breeds connection. And so the questions to ask are questions that show curious, that show that you are, interested in what's going on, not in a controlling way, but in a way that says, like, I care to see your heart. And that curiosity, and it's not a demanding of understanding, and that's different. So, like, well, I don't understand, I don't get it, right? Like that is a totally different approach. But the curiosity that says, like, I really want to see more about your hurt, your heart, all the things that I cannot, see. And if you don't have words, that's totally cool. I just want you to know I'm here for it, right? And so, not creating a question that creates a response, but creating a question that shows curiosity and is a reflection of curiosity, right? And so the way I'm putting these words is super important. We can't really tangle those things up, because the goal is not to get a question answered. The goal is not to get somebody to express their pain. The goal is to demonstrate our curiosity and our interest in being closer and
mm,
connected to that person. Okay, so I would say that would be a big deal if somebody can realize, if we can realize as in our relationships that our curiosity actually breeds connection. And the goal, if we talk about repairing, especially in infidelity, the goal is to be connected again, or get connected like we never have been before. And so how do we do that? Well, one of the ways is through curiosity.
mhm. And what feels better than when someone wants to know everything about your day? Someone wants to know everything about you, and they're just so and interested in it and excited by it.
Hmm.
And so it feels very just validating in itself to be curious about me, right, and my feelings and my experience. And but the what of the questions, if you're struggling with the what of wanting to demonstrate that curiosity, okay, I would suggest trying to find out what this is all really about. If I'm going to simplify that, find out what this is all really about. If a situation happens and your spouse becomes upset in some way, find out, okay, think about it like you're going in to a crime scene, right? You want to find out exactly what happened. What try to connect the dots, thinking about it as you peeling layers, getting to the root, connecting the dots of everything. You want to find out what happened, what it made you feel, what it made you think, what does it make you want to do? Okay, what led to that? Right? Try to put it together as if it's an investigation going on here. Try to put everything together as to where you finally and it sounds like and it's this happened and that happened. It's because of this and it makes me feel like this. Right? And what you're doing when that happens is even your partner, they themselves don't realize that they feel those certain ways until they speak them out loud. And so you are helping them process. So think about it like this: you are there as an assistant to help them process those thoughts and those emotions, judgment free, agenda free, as far as your own personal agenda. And that's what we do so many times, is we listen to our partner, but we go, well, why do you think that though? But why do you keep thinking? right? And it's kind of like, wow, but well, am I wrong for this? Yeah, and so then all of a sudden we start to go back into that shell, and then there it is again. And so that's one very important thing to do is whatever the response is to as well. And I'm going to maybe a lot here that's all unorganized, but no matter what it is, it's how someone feels is not wrong, right? It doesn't, because it's not like when I say this is how I feel, I'm not saying that this is what's true. How you make me feel like you don't care about me. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's how I feel, right? And learning the communication aspect of it. But the more you do it proactively, go out, learn some lessons, study some courses, whatever it is, work with somebody, pick up those new skills and those new tools, and then begin practicing them.
Mhm.
If you're wanting to improve the communication.
Mhm.
Again, we're long winded today. We're both long winded today, but that's because we're enthusiastic. We're about it.
Trying to
This is
love
it
on you
right here.
guys. We're trying to love on you guys.
All the time.
Yes, yes, yes. Any other questions that you see on your end? Because I got everything that is on my end. I already asked.
Um, oh, Alex, yeah, I was coming in. I really want to show them and fix things, or I really want to show up and fix things with her. She gave me so much, and I held on to familiarity and remained in contact with an ex. I have financial ties to still, but entertain more than finances. Therapy for me is more down to losing. Therapy for me is more down to losing her. Showed me I caused a lot of issues, and whether we get back together or not, I am ready to make changes for myself. Yes, that
Love
is it.
it.
Because
Love it.
the most important part of all of it is who you become. The past is, in fact, valid. I didn't mean to point, my apologies. The past is, in fact, valid, but the most important part of the past is who you become as a result of it.
Mhm,
Very
mhm.
much so.
Yeah, you guys, all hardship is about that. And so as we do go through hard things, and this is again a focus thing, like as we go through hard things, understand like this is shaping you and making you into better. And we never know what the results of that would be. I've lived life long enough to be able to look at things and say like, man, I would have never imagined that that would happen or I would be in that spot. But there's a lot of heartache that I didn't want to happen in order for me to even get there. And so be patient with your process and understand like my focus has to be more on getting to a place where I can handle the next thing that's coming to me because it's coming. Right. So I love that, Alex, that you would recognize, the need to be able to try to just pursue a higher version of you. And I hope everything goes well with how you're doing everything. Okay. And then your relationships as well.
Right. And yeah, that, we had, CB in here on come wrote it down. Thanks. And we want to see you in the session, the
Yeah,
private
and
session.
private session
Mhm.
next week, and it is free of charge. We've done that the first 3 months for sure. We'll keep that going. All right. So let's give a little. I think we got time for energy spike. We got time for energy spike.
So I
So we're gonna
always have time for an energy spike.
we're gonna see what this is all about right here. So this is my favorite sentence that in our preparation that we came up with, which is, um, "Real trust is rebuilt through character, not control."
Hmm.
So when we get afraid or we know that we're losing trust, it's just like anything. Like we always brace for contact or brace for comfort. And it's like us just trying to really hold on and like, okay, things don't have to go well or I can deal with it when it can, right? When we can. So we try to get
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
control. But what if your character was what it needed to be? Right? And if
Hmm.
your character was what it needed to be, then everything changes. All right, so let's ask a couple of questions that say is it trust or test. So checking your partner's phone daily, is that a trust thing or is that a control thing, a test thing?
It's both. It's I don't trust you, and well, it is control to a certain degree of oneself as well, and in trying to make sure that you don't cheat on me again. And so that's just the thing. It's not your job to make sure they don't cheat again. I will repeat that if this resonates with somebody. It's not your job to make sure they don't cheat again. And the more you continue to check the phone, if you are trying to rebuild the trust, what you are doing is signaling to yourself that I do not trust you. And I need to make sure that you are not cheating on me right now. And but that still doesn't give any trust. That just lets me know that right now you're not cheating on me. And so from now until the next moment, I need something else to let me know. And then we become dependent on that behavior.
Mhm.
And so then uh, when we become dependent on it, wow, that's then it's habitual. And from there, it becomes, more can become more difficult to break.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody check the phone and then become okay. I actually feel like their need to check the phone grows. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I would say that that's a test and it's probably not useful for people. I understand why it's happening, kind of like you described, Fit, but yeah, it's difficult. Being honest about a small mistake before they find out, I think that's trust. I feel like that consistency, as long as it doesn't come from a place um, of like I need to tell on myself type scenario, and it comes from a place of like, this is who I really want to be. I want to be a person who's transparent, and these are kind of mistakes that I make that I don't want to hold on to or try to hide from. If I feel like I'm putting myself in hiding, I want to really kind of
Hmm.
create a different scenario and a different experience for myself. So I think that really builds on the truth. All
Yeah.
right, same with you, Fit. Next one is
Um,
keeping promises on small things like time and follow through.
right, right. Yeah. And so that's very important. So, like, when it comes to rebuilding trust, like if it's like infidelity or something, it's not just about no longer cheating that rebuilds trust. It is about being consistent in making sure that there are no lies, or there are no more un, untold or withheld truths.
Mhm.
Uh, but that consistency is very important. In you say, well, I'm going to take care of the bill by tonight. The bill is going to be paid. It's going to be taken care of, and then doesn't get done. And then what happens? Now, hey, did you get that bill done?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And what yeah, yeah, yeah means is no, no, no.
Yeah.
And then we get it on, and then we do it right after that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it's like I go back to do what you say and say what you do consistently. And another thing I say as well is your partner cannot catch you in a lie you do not tell. And
Mhm.
so getting in the habit of telling the truth is a thing all in its own. But
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's give them a weekly reset just so that you guys have something to walk away with, besides all the other juice that we've been able to give you guys. So this is a credibility habit. And so I think that during the week, you guys can try to focus on being predictable in a good way, in a way that you can be counted on. And so whether it's follow through, whether it's communicating early, or somehow admitting to a small mistake, see if you guys can do that this week on a daily basis, finding stuff that helps you. And you know what I think you'll find more than in your relationship, it bringing goodness is the goodness it brings to you. Like there's nothing like living a life where you're either able to say everything you do, or you don't do the things that you're not willing to say. It just gives you so much joy and peace on the inside, and so experience life that way. And I think that reset will really help you. So we do want to invite you guys, in um, for our private session next Friday. And the more that you guys are able to sign up and get in there the same way that you all benefit from each other's questions here, you'll be able to do in a private session, and we can spend more time on what is going on that's difficult in a relationship. Word of the week. So Fit already said this because it's something that we just really need to have. And so our word of the week is consistency. And I think that the more that we can focus on being consistent with our actions, that actually makes you more trustworthy, but then it also puts trust in your relationship, because predictability is something that helps us to be able to know that good things are going to happen, right? So if I've always been doing good things, doing good things, doing good things, then my partner gets to know that. I get to know that, and really, I think that that's what helps things shine is I can trust myself in those scenarios. So you just start being consistent at doing the things that you want to be doing in your relationship. You have a follow up for that fit?
Work your way there. Build the muscle of discipline in other
Hmm.
things. Go,
Hmm.
you know what? For the next 7 days, I'm going to only eat uh, boiled chicken and broccoli.
Hmm.
For this month, I'm going to do 10 push-ups every day, no matter what. And I'm
Hmm.
going to put a check mark or whatever it is, right? And so find ways to become consistent with yourself, and your partner is going to see that. And so then it becomes a matter of not needing to prove to them any consistencies.
Yeah.
Right, you're setting that up for yourself, and your partner will observe that. Remember, your partner is observing quite a bit. Make a wish right here. I got a nice healthy eyelash, but your partner is observing. They're watching. They're watching your moves. And so an example, right, they watch when, let's say that you have plans with your friends or someone, and you go, I'm not going to go with them anymore. And your partner's going, well, didn't you tell them you were going to go with them? And you go, yeah, but I really don't feel like it. I'll just tell them that, something came up or whatever. And they go, they're watching you lie, with others. And so I just wanted to point that one out as well, just the consistency of everything on all bases, on all avenues.
Yeah.
It's not just about consistency of what you do, but who you are and how you show up.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
you do anything is how you do everything. I love it.
Mhm.
Yes. So let's close with this. And I think that it's important because especially when we talk about trust and building trust in our relationship and it being broken, is we miss out on an important concept. And that concept is that you're not pursuing a result of a relationship. You're pursuing a better version of yourself. If you get that twisted, everything that we've given you today and you try to go and apply and use, you're going to be stuck. I see it happen way too often. And so the key is work on becoming a better version of yourself so that you can actually do the things that are needed in your relationship so you can have a relationship that feels comfortable. If you flip that over and you're like, "Oh, let me try to have a relationship that feels comfortable and do those things," then everything's going to go the wrong way. You have to become that person first. The challenge is become a person who is trusting themselves, become a person that is consistent, become a person that's pursuing relationships at a high level, become a person who is doing all the things that are needed to be better, right? To wear the crown. And the more you do that, then you're going to get some of the results by default that you want inside of your relationship. And I think we'll see that happen the more that we pursue goodness on the inside. Okay. Fit, anything to add?
So much to add. There's so much to add. I want to add philosophy in here to get the minds going. But it's like, if you think about, and this is just philosophy, I just want to offer this, right? And it can be taken in a lot of different ways, but I mean it in all of them the best ways, right? So if your partner is showing up, and it's because you created them. You created your partner. Your partner's in your life. Your partner, they're there. It is how it is between the both of you. Either because you believe that that's how it should be, or perhaps there's something that you are to learn, or something that you are trying to learn, something that some kind of subconscious belief. I'm not sure what it is, but again, and this may take some thinking about, because it took me a while when I was invited to this, and I may not be articulating it in the best way. But if you realize that your partner is you, then that's when things begin to change, especially with the way you treat them. You begin to notice the subtleties of what you expect from them, or you find ways that you're not giving that to them. You're like, I'm expecting that from you, but I'm not fully even giving that to you.
Mhm.
And it isn't until we find those things as to where we realize that our partner is us. And again, it's some philosophy to play around with, but That's what I just wanted. That's what was running through my mind with the
Yeah,
discussion here. Yeah.
love it. I love it. All right, you guys. So we'll catch you next week. We got a short show next week, and then we jump into our private session. I hope everybody is enjoying their week and you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday.
I guess.